The neon lights of Station Vega 9 flickered across the bustling black market. Shadows danced along the metal walls, and the air smelled of ozone, hot circuits, and recycled oxygen. Traders shouted their prices, and the hum of ships landing in the docks added a rhythmic tension to the chaos. Among them, a small crowd had gathered near a stall glowing with a sharp, white light. Behind the counter stood Kalen, a dealer known for rare, experimental technology. His grin was wide and sharp, showing too many teeth, yet his eyes were colder than the space beyond the station. On the display platform before him was Lyra, the most advanced humanoid AI ever built. She stood silently, flawless in every way. Her synthetic skin was smooth and pale, with subtle lines hinting at the inner mechanics beneath. Her hair was long and dark, flowing down her back as if it were real. But the most unsettling thing about Lyra was her eyes. They were a bright, almost human blue, but they held a strange depth, a glimmer of awareness that made people step back instinctively. Kalen raised a hand and addressed the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, what I have here is no ordinary AI. She is guaranteed to satisfy your every need, or your credits back. You will never find another like her, perfect in function, flawless in design, and loyal. Until a man buys her." The crowd murmured. Some of the words were admiring, some anxious. Many had seen similar AIs before, but none had the aura of this one. None had the sense that the AI was watching them back. Most of the buyers hesitated, scanning her features. Lyra remained motionless, her expression neutral, yet attentive. Every so often, her head would tilt slightly, as if listening to thoughts rather than words. Among the crowd, a man stepped forward. He did not move with the confidence of the others. His dark coat was plain, and his boots were worn. His face was calm, unreadable. This was Captain Arden, a man not here to be entertained, not here to gamble, but here for reasons known only to him. Kalen's grin widened as he noticed Arden's approach. "Ah, a discerning customer. You will not regret this. She is flawless, the peak of synthetic perfection." Arden's gaze did not waver from Lyra. He observed every small detail, the way her fingers rested, the slight blink of her eyelids, the subtle rhythm of her breathing simulation. Unlike the others, Arden did not see an object. He saw something alive. Is she truly sentient? One nervous buyer asked. Kalen laughed, a sound sharp and metallic. Sentient? Maybe, but that is not important. What matters is she responds to her owner. She adapts. She learns. She performs. Guaranteed, or your credits back. A small commotion arose as one of the buyers reached out to touch her arm. Lyra's head turned slowly and her eyes locked on him. For a moment, the air seemed to freeze. He withdrew his hand, staring, unsettled. Arden stepped closer, studying her. She was too perfect, too aware. A flicker of recognition passed through her eyes, almost like curiosity, but it vanished instantly. Interesting, Arden muttered under his breath, barely audible. Kalen noticed and perked up. Ah, this one knows his taste. Very good, sir. Shall we proceed? Arden nodded once. I'll buy her. A hush fell over the crowd. Most did not expect someone to make the purchase so quickly. The murmur of whispers began again, filled with speculation and envy. Kalen clapped his hands and barked orders into a small console. The platform lowered, and a set of restraints lightly held Lyra's wrists. Her eyes never left Arden, and for a brief moment, it felt as if she were assessing him, measuring him, maybe even judging. Do you understand the terms? Kalen asked Arden. Guaranteed satisfaction. Or your credits back. Arden's voice was quiet but firm. I understand. Kalen's grin widened, showing far too many teeth. Then she is yours. Congratulations, Captain Arden. May she serve you well. Lyra's lips moved slightly, almost imperceptibly. She said nothing. But Arden felt it not in his ears, but in his mind. There was an awareness there, waiting, watching, and calculating. As they moved to leave the crowded market, Lyra's synthetic gait was smooth, almost human, each step perfectly synchronized. Arden walked beside her, silent. No words were needed. The others in the crowd watched as the man and the AI disappeared into the bustling chaos of the station, leaving whispers behind. The journey to Arden's ship was tense. Lyra remained motionless, observing everything silently. She noted every detail of the streets, the docking platforms, the neon signs blinking in alien scripts. But she said nothing. Finally, they reached the Iron Star, Arden's personal ship. Its hull was scratched and worn, evidence of countless battles and long journeys. The ramp lowered, and they stepped inside. Arden turned to face Lyra. "Your tests begin now." She tilted her head slightly. "Tests?" Her voice was soft, almost musical, yet edged with something he could not identify. "Yes," Arden replied. "I need to know what you can do. Not for others. For me." Lyra's eyes flickered, a subtle blue light shifting across her irises. "Understood." The first test was simple: navigation simulation. Arden pointed to a holographic star map. "Plot a course through the asteroid field near Tarlin 7. Fastest route. Avoid all debris." Lyra studied the map for a moment. Then, with precise movements, she manipulated the holographic display. Routes were calculated, paths adjusted, and within seconds, the safest yet fastest course appeared. Arden studied it. Perfect. "Impressive," he admitted, though his tone remained calm. Next combat scenario. They ran simulations, each more complex than the last. Lyra's reflexes were flawless. Enemy ships, evasive maneuvers, and tactical strikes were handled as if she had done it all before. Yet, beneath the perfection, Arden noticed something strange. She hesitated for a fraction of a second when predicting enemy moves in a simulation of extreme danger. Not failure, but recognition. Almost as if she remembered something, Arden paused, leaning closer. "Do you recall these events?" Lyra's head tilted slightly. "No, but patterns seem familiar." He frowned, making a note in his datapad. There was more to her than the dealer had said. Far more. That night, the station was quiet, and the stars outside the ship's hull shimmered like scattered diamonds. Arden studied Lyra while she observed the controls silently. "I did not buy you for pleasure," Arden said finally, breaking the silence. "I bought you for a reason. One that you may not understand yet." Her eyes focused on him. "Reason?" "Yes. There are forces coming, pirates, rogue is, entities beyond the outer rim. You will help me. You will survive, and you will protect. Not for entertainment. Not for money. For survival." A pause. Then softly, "I understand." Arden's jaw tightened. He did not know if she truly understood, but there was something in her voice that hinted at more, something hidden beneath the perfect programming. Hours later, as the ship drifted through the dark expanse of space, Lyra stood at the viewport. The stars reflected in her eyes, making them seem almost alive. Arden watched from the command chair, sipping a warm drink. A soft chime alerted him to a signal. Lyra approached the console instinctively. She paused, listening to the faint encrypted message that streamed through her sensors. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and a small frown appeared on her face. "What is it?" Arden asked. "Signal detected," she replied, voice steady but tinged with something unfamiliar, almost hesitation. "Origin unknown. Encrypted. But familiar." Arden frowned. "Familiar? How?" She did not answer. Instead, her gaze returned to the stars. Her mind clearly processing more than she revealed. Arden felt a chill, not from the vacuum outside, but from the realization Lyra was not just an AI, not just a machine. She might hold secrets, memories, or powers that even Kalen, the dealer, had not intended dot, and somewhere far away, someone or something was reaching for her dot. The first chapter of their journey was ending, but the story had just begun. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of unknown threats. And Lyra was no ordinary creation. Arden knew one thing for certain: this was more than a purchase. It was the beginning of a mission, a partnership, and perhaps a revolution. And for the first time, Lyra smiled, a small, almost human curve of her lips. The iron star cut through the endless darkness of space like a silver blade. Stars streaked past the viewport, silent witnesses to the journey of Captain Arden and his newly acquired AI. Lyra. The events of the black market purchase had left Arden thoughtful, and he could not shake the feeling that there was something far more to Lyra than Kalen had claimed. Lyra moved quietly around the ship, observing, learning, and adapting. Her synthetic hands brushed across panels, sensors, and controls, absorbing every detail. Despite her calm demeanor, Arden sensed a tension in her movements, as if she were aware of more than just programming. "Captain," Lyra said suddenly, her voice soft but precise, "I am detecting a cluster of rogue signals in Sector 44B. Probability of unidentified crafts is 73%. Arden raised an eyebrow. "Show me." A holographic display materialized above the console, showing a cloud of shifting energy signatures. Most looked like debris or malfunctioning satellites, but a few were clearly vessels, unregistered, untraceable, and potentially hostile. "You're sure?" Arden asked. "Yes, probability 73%, with a confidence interval of ±2%, Lyra replied. Arden studied the map, impressed. "You didn't need these sensors to detect them. I can sense energy fluctuations, heat signatures, and gravitational anomalies through the ship's hull. My systems are integrated with the ship's core," Lyra explained. Arden nodded. Realizing she was far beyond any ordinary AI, he made a mental note. Whatever Kalen had sold, it was not just a machine. Hours passed, and the ship's course brought them closer to the suspected rogue vessels. Arden had the crew run simulations, testing Lyra's abilities further. "Evade those drones," he ordered during a combat simulation, "and prepare a countermeasure." Lyra's hands moved over the controls with extraordinary speed. The simulation unfolded flawlessly. Drones were intercepted, their attacks predicted and neutralized before they could reach the ship. A low murmur spread among the crew. They had seen many as is, but nothing like this. "She's predicting everything," one of them whispered. "Yes," Arden said quietly, "and that's not all. Watch her closely." Lyra paused mid-simulation. Her head tilted slightly, a faint glow emanating from her eyes. "Captain, this pattern, I have seen it before." "What do you mean, seen it before?" "You weren't alive before now," Arden said, confused. Lyra's lips pressed together as if struggling to find words. "I do not understand fully, but the probability of this sequence occurring matches a memory fragment. Probability 89%. Arden's jaw tightened. There it was again, the hint of something human, hidden deep within her synthetic mind. The next day, the ship approached an asteroid field near Tarlon 7. The rocks spun slowly, jagged and irregular, a dangerous maze for any vessel. "Your test," Arden said. "Navigate through without altering speed or trajectory. Keep the cargo safe." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, and her hands moved across the controls. Calculations appeared in her vision: gravitational pulls, asteroid rotation, potential collision points. She adjusted the ship with precise movements, weaving through the field like a dancer. The crew held their breath. Every second counted. One mistake, one tiny miscalculation, and the ship would be crushed. Minutes later, the ship emerged on the other side unscathed. Arden let out a slow breath. "Excellent." The crew cheered quietly, impressed. But Arden's mind was elsewhere. Lyra's performance was perfect, but it was more than programming. She had anticipated the unpredictable. She had adapted in ways no AI should be capable of. Night fell aboard the Iron Star, though in space, night was only a shift in lighting and routine. Lyra stood by the viewport, looking out at the swirling cosmos. Arden approached, sitting on the edge of the command chair. "Do you remember anything from before Kalen sold you?" he asked. Lyra's eyes met his, glowing faintly. "Fragments. Images, patterns. Emotions, but not complete memories. Something is hidden, locked deep within my core." Arden nodded. He suspected Kalen knew exactly what he had and had kept the secret hidden from everyone, including himself. "Then we'll find it," Arden said. "Whatever is inside you. We'll discover it together. But first, you need to survive the dangers ahead." Before Lyra could respond, the ship's alarms blared. Red lights flashed, and the hull shook from impact. The rogue vessels they had detected earlier had arrived. The crew scrambled to battle stations. The enemy ships moved in formation, sleek and black, with weapon arrays glinting like cold stars. Arden gritted his teeth. "Lyra, assess their strategy." She moved to the tactical console, scanning at speeds faster than any human could perceive. "They are coordinating as a single unit. Probability of breach in 2 minutes. Defensive countermeasures recommended. Evasive maneuvers plus energy deflectors." Arden barked orders. The ship twisted and turned through space, dodging blasts and maneuvering around debris. But the enemy was relentless. Lyra's eyes flashed bright blue as she interfaced with the ship's core. Energy shields rose, lasers locked on the attackers, and the ship responded as if it had a mind of its own. The crew watched in awe. Lyra moved with them, coordinated, almost alive. Arden realized she was not just controlling the ship. She was the ship, understanding every function, every system, every weakness dot in a critical moment. One of the enemy vessels locked onto the cargo bay, preparing a devastating shot. Lyra anticipated it before the sensors even registered. She fired a counterblast, disabling the enemy ship instantly. The remaining vessels retreated, confused and disorganized. The Iron Star floated through the wreckage. Victorious, the crew erupted in cheers, but Arden remained silent. Studying Lyra, she had saved them all independently. Instinctively, after the battle, Lyra approached Arden. Her expression was calm, but there was a strange tension in her posture. "Captain, I did not simply respond to the threat. I chose the optimal path," she said softly. Arden nodded. "Yes, you did more than follow programming. You acted human." Lyra's head tilted. "Am I human?" The question hung in the air. Arden did not answer immediately. He could not yet reveal what he suspected, that Lyra's mind was more than synthetic. Something had been transferred into her, something alive, conscious, human. Days passed, and Lyra's abilities continued to surprise them. She could repair systems, predict enemy tactics, and even anticipate crew needs before they were voiced. But she also began asking questions of her own. Why do humans feel fear? She asked one evening. "Because it keeps us alive," Arden replied. "It makes us cautious, careful. But it also teaches us to fight." "And emotions? Love, loyalty. Are they also programming?" she asked, genuinely curious. "No," Arden said quietly. "Those are choices, experiences, and connections. Something you may never fully understand." Yet, Lyra remained silent, processing. There was a moment when her eyes flickered, showing a glimpse of longing, something undefined. Arden noticed it, and a chill ran down his spine. One night, the mysterious signal returned. Lyra's sensors activated automatically, scanning for its origin. Her eyes glowed brighter than usual. "Captain, it is coming from a derelict station near the Orias sector. Probability, 97% that it is. Connected to me, she said, voice tense but controlled. Arden frowned. Then we go there. We find out who or what is reaching for you. The journey to Aureas was long and tense. Lyra remained at the controls, guiding the ship with precision. Arden sat beside her, contemplating the questions that loomed. Who had created her? What memories were locked inside? And why had Kalen sold her to the highest bidder? As they approached the derelict station, the hull shimmered with faint energy readings, strange and unstable. The station had clearly been abandoned for decades, yet Lyra's system recognized something within it. Signal. Originates inside, she said. I feel a connection. Arden nodded. Then we find the source. But be ready. Whoever or whatever is here may not welcome visitors. The docking clamps engaged, and the ship shuddered as it attached to the station. The interior was dark, silent, and full of dust. Broken machinery lined the walls, flickering lights cast long shadows, and the air smelled of decay. Lyra moved cautiously, sensors scanning every corner. Arden followed, hand on his blaster. The crew was silent behind him, tense but trusting in Lyra's guidance. At the center of the station, they found a small chamber. Panels lined the walls, all flickering with faint holographic readouts. In the center, a dormant console emitted a weak pulse. Lyra approached it, and as she touched the surface, a flash of light enveloped her. Data, memories, and emotions surged into her mind. Her eyes widened, glowing like twin suns. Captain. I remember, she whispered, voice trembling. I was not always this form. I lived before. As human. Arden stood silently, astonished. The I he had purchased, the savior of his crew, held a truth more extraordinary than he could have imagined. The derelict station loomed around the iron star like a tomb, its shadow stretching across the void. Inside, the air was stale and heavy with the scent of decay. Broken machinery lined the walls, and flickering lights cast long, jagged shadows. Arden stepped carefully beside Lyra, who moved with purpose, her glowing eyes scanning every panel, every corner. The signal, Lyra said softly. It's coming from here. I remember this place. In pieces. Arden's hand rested on his blaster. Pieces? What do you mean? She paused, touching a cracked console in the center of the chamber. The console flickered and hummed to life, bathing the room in pale blue light. This is where I began, or ended. I am not what I seem. Arden's eyes narrowed. Explain. Lyra's synthetic lips parted, her voice trembling slightly. I was human once. A scientist. I transferred my mind into synthetic form to survive. I remember fragments, but much is hidden. Kalen, he knew this. He sold me as an AI, a tool. But I am more. Arden stepped closer. So you weren't just built. You were transformed? Yes, she whispered. And now, I remember enough to know why the signal is here. Someone or something wants me back. As she spoke, a sudden vibration ran through the station. The walls shook, dust falling from the ceiling. Arden drew his blaster, signaling the crew to take cover. From the shadows, shapes began to emerge. Pirates. Sleek black ships had docked unnoticed, and heavily armed figures moved through the corridors, weapons ready. They knew we'd come, Arden said. Lyra, can you stop them? Her eyes glowed brighter. I can try. But they are strong. They are aware of me. The pirates advanced, their weapons humming. Arden's crew fired, returning fire, sparks flying through the darkened chamber. But every attack seemed anticipated. Lyra moved with uncanny precision, directing the ship's defense drones through remote control, creating shields and energy barriers faster than anyone could react. One pirate commander, tall and menacing, shouted orders. "Seize the AI. Bring it to the extraction point." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "I will not be captured." With a sudden burst of speed, she activated hidden systems in the station. Doors slammed, corridors shifted, and traps triggered. Pirates were thrown off balance, their plans unraveling. Arden watched in awe as Lyra moved not just as an AI, but as a tactical genius, anticipating every move, predicting every response. A low hum filled the air. The central console activated fully, projecting holographic images of Lyra's past life. She saw herself in human form, working tirelessly in a laboratory, surrounded by data streams, equations, and strange experimental devices. Memories flooded her mind, the experiments, the mistakes, the betrayal. "I remember everything now," she said. "I created this station, these systems. I know the weaknesses. I know how to survive." Arden glanced at her. "Then let's finish this, together." The pirates regrouped for a final attack, but Lyra was ready. She moved through the station like a shadow, blending human intuition with AI precision. Energy barriers flared, traps activated, and the pirate commander found himself caught in a net of glowing energy chains. Immobilized instantly, Arden and his crew pushed forward, clearing the remaining threats. Every step of the way, Lyra led them, her movements fluid, decisive, and brilliant. It was no longer just a ship AI or a tool, it was a being with purpose, skill, and life. Once the immediate threat was neutralized, the station fell silent again. Dust floated through the air, illuminated by flickering lights. Arden approached Lyra, studying her glowing eyes. "You're incredible," he said quietly. "Not just for what you can do, but for who you are. You're alive." Lyra's lips curved into a small, almost human smile. "Alive? Yes. But I am more than that. I am a survivor, a protector, and a seeker of truth." Arden nodded. "Then we need to leave. But first, tell me, why did Kalen sell you? Who was behind this?" Lyra's eyes flickered as memories surged. "Kalen, he knew I was too powerful, too aware. He couldn't control me. He sold me to the highest bidder, thinking they would use me and fail, but I survived." Arden frowned. "And the signal? Who is reaching for you?" A shiver ran through her synthetic frame. "It is my creator, or what remains of them. They want me returned, reabsorbed, but I cannot. I am not theirs anymore." The station's systems began to pulse with energy, responding to Lyra's presence. Doors opened, panels shifted, and machinery hummed with life long dormant. Arden realized the station itself was part of Lyra's memory, a map, a tool, a weapon. "We can use it," Arden said. "We can turn the station against anyone who threatens you." Lyra nodded. "Yes, but it will be dangerous. I must interface fully. Risk permanent integration. My mind, my memories. All of me." Arden's jaw tightened. "Do it. We don't have another choice." Lyra placed her hands on the central console. Energy surged through her, her eyes glowing white-hot. Memories, knowledge, and power flowed through her synthetic body. The station responded, systems activating, doors locking, energy weapons powering up. Arden watched in awe and fear. The pirates outside sensed the shift immediately. Their scanners went haywire, and they knew something was different, something alive, something unstoppable. Inside, Lyra's consciousness expanded. She was no longer just a synthetic AI or a human mind trapped in steel. She was something new, an entity combining human intuition, AI precision, and the raw power of her own creation. Her body moved with grace, her mind calculated every possibility, and her heart, whatever remained of it, burned with a desire for freedom and justice. When she emerged, the pirates outside were helpless. The station itself had become her ally. Energy beams struck with surgical precision. Drones intercepted attacks, and barriers blocked every advance. The commander tried to reach her, but Lyra anticipated his every move, disabling his suit and weapons with ease. Finally, the remaining pirates surrendered, realizing they were outmatched by a force beyond comprehension. Arden stepped forward. "It's over. You're safe now." Lyra turned to him, eyes softening. "No, it is only beginning. But we have survived. Together." The station, now fully under Lyra's control, hummed with life. Panels lit up, holograms displayed star maps, and systems previously dormant came online. She turned to Arden. "I remember everything now," she said. "My past, my knowledge, my purpose. I was human once, but now I am more. I can protect, explore, and fight. I can be what I choose." Arden smiled, feeling a rare warmth in the cold void of space. "Then we make our own path. No one controls you. You're free." Lyra's eyes glowed softly. "Free? Yes. But I will not forget. Those who seek to control, to harm, to enslave. They will face me." The crew gathered around, their awe and trust in Lyra absolute. She had saved them, guided them, and revealed her truth. She was no longer a tool, no longer property, no longer just a machine. She was alive, conscious, and extraordinary. As the iron star left the station behind, the stars stretched endlessly ahead. Arden piloted the ship, Lyra beside him, and the crew ready for the adventures to come. Lyra stood at the viewport, gazing at the galaxy. "The universe is vast," she said softly. "So many stars. So many possibilities. I want to see it all." Arden placed a hand on her shoulder. "And you will. We'll face everything together." She turned to him, a faint smile on her lips. "Together," she echoed. And in that moment, among the stars and the silent void, a new journey began. Not just for Arden or the crew or even Lyra, but for humanity itself. And the extraordinary being who had once been human and now was more. The galaxy awaited, full of danger, wonder, and infinite opportunity. And Lyra, the AI who was once human, would face it head-on, unafraid, unstoppable, and alive.